Now we turn to campaign 2016 and the Democratic presidential candidates. A new poll has even more bad news for Lincoln Chafee's puzzling campaign. In the wake of his first debate on the national stage, his unfavorability rating is now up to 42%. And new at 6, our Eyewitness News political analyst weighs in. Eyewitness News reporter Kelly Sullivan is live in the newsroom.
Well, Shannon, Mass Inc. polling group conducted the poll for Boston-based WBUR. It surveyed 401 likely voters in New Hampshire's Democratic primary. Former Governor Lincoln Chafee ended his term in the Ocean State with a 53% unfavorable rating among voters. And his perception among New Hampshire voters is almost identical. After his performance in the first Democratic presidential debate, a WBUR survey finds Chafee's unfavorable rating among likely voters in New Hampshire's Democratic primary shot up from 17 to 42%. Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming says these numbers are not surprising at all.
A lot of people up in New Hampshire still did not know who Lincoln Chafee was. And when they saw this debate, they got a picture of him, and it was not a favorable picture of him at all. They saw him stumbling around in the debate, getting very little debate time, so it's not surprising that his unfavorable numbers have more than doubled.
Disappointing for Chafee since he's been making frequent campaign stops to the Granite State, where he also owns a home. But this fellow New Englander candidate is not resonating with New Hampshire voters, as his support has dwindled to less than 1% in last place among Democratic candidates.
And he has to make a decision very soon, I believe. Do I want to stay in and keep doing this, or do I want to actually get out of this race?
And now Chafee said last week he had no plans to drop his bid for the White House despite that poor performance in the debate and also a lack of fundraising. Now the next televised Democratic debate will be held November 14th, hosted by CBS News, which hasn't said whether or not Chafee will be invited. Reporting live in the newsroom, Kelly Sullivan, Eyewitness News.
And count on Eyewitness News for in-depth coverage of campaign 2016. Coming up on Eyewitness News at 6:30 on Fox Providence, a closer look at how Vice President Biden's decision not to run affects the other candidates from both political parties.